Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Carly Height, the Director of Marketing and Strategy with Consumer Focus. And today joining me is Jody Moore, the Marketing and Brand Strategy Specialist on our team. We work closely with our clients to develop integrated marketing strategies that are customized to each business's unique individual needs. We specialize in marketing for propane fuels and HVAC businesses, and many of the companies we work with offer both residential and commercial services. And we understand how marketing to commercial prospects can come with a unique set of challenges. So today, we are going to talk about our top tips for marketing to commercial prospects and how to build a successful results-driven strategy for this audience. More specifically, we will be covering choosing effective B2B marketing channels, tailoring your message to appeal to this commercial audience, building credibility through trust signals, and positioning your business as a reliable long-term partner. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to enter them into the questions box when they come to mind, and we'll be happy to answer them at the end of our presentation. So without further ado, we will jump in.
All right, so hi everyone. Over the next few minutes, I want to talk about something that I know keeps a lot of business owners and marketing managers up at night, and that's where to actually put marketing dollars to effectively reach your customers. In this case, that would be commercial customers, because marketing to a fleet manager or facilities director is a very different game than marketing to a homeowner. So let's dig in. The first question we always want to consider is, where does your buyer actually live and spend time during their workday? For oil, propane, and HVAC companies selling to commercial accounts, so that would be typically property managers, construction firms, restaurants, manufacturers, your buyers are not scrolling Instagram looking for their next fuel supplier. They're in their inbox. They're Googling solutions to problems at 7 a.m. before the crew shows up. They're on LinkedIn connecting with vendors. And increasingly, they're asking AI tools like ChatGPT or Google's AI overview to answer questions like, what's the best propane supplier for a multi-state operation in the Northeast? This matters because if you're showing up where your residential customers hang out, but not where your commercial buyers are researching, you're invisible at the exact moment that they're ready to make a decision. Commercial buyers do their homework, so you need to be part of that homework. But that's not all. We also need to consider where your competitors are marketing. Your competition can tell you a lot. We regularly audit the digital footprint of B2B companies in this energy space, and here's what we're seeing. The companies winning commercial contracts right now are showing up in 3 key places. First, Google search and pay-per-click, also known as PPC marketing. Your competitors are bidding on terms like commercial HVAC service contracts or bulk propane delivery for business. So if you're not there, they will be. Second is AI search. This is newer but growing fast. When a facilities manager asks ChatGPT or uses Google's AI overview to find a propane supplier, the companies that have strong, well-structured content online are the ones getting named. This is called AI visibility, and it's becoming a real competitive differentiator. And then third, LinkedIn. Some people think the energy industry doesn't use LinkedIn, and for the typical HVAC tech or driver, I would tend to agree. However, your commercial decision makers are on LinkedIn. Competitors are running targeted ads and posting engaging content that positions them as the expert before the buyer ever picks up the phone. The good news is that most companies in the fuels industry haven't fully cracked this marketing code yet. So there's real opportunity here. Based on what's working right now for B2B companies in our industry, here are the channels we most commonly find ourselves recommending. First, Google search and local services ads. This is still the highest intent channel that exists right now. Someone searching propane forklift cylinder exchange wants to talk to someone today, so you need to be there. And side note, these ads work best when pointing toward a young website that clearly outlines your services and is optimized for AI to find and recommend. If you don't have a website, or your website is currently old enough to start going to school, Starting with a fresh new website that's optimized for user experience and AI is a great place to begin. Okay, back to the list. Search engine optimization and generative engine optimization, or AI optimization with B2B focused content is another thing we recommend. So write blog posts, service pages, and put together case studies that answer questions your commercial buyers are actually asking. This also feeds AI search results, which is increasingly where research is starting these days. LinkedIn advertising and outreach. We can target by job title, company size, and industry so that your ads can reach the property manager at a 200 unit apartment complex and not just, everyone in a certain zip code. We also recommend email marketing to a targeted list because commercial buyers respond to relevant, timely emails, service reminders, pricing updates, regulatory changes that affect their operations. It's a lower cost channel than some, but it has a strong return on investment when it's done right. And finally, retargeting. Most commercial buyers don't convert on the first visit. Retargeting is when we continually show your brand and its offerings to people on other pages on the internet after they have visited your site, which keeps your name in front of them when they're evaluating options. Now, if you feel your heart rate going up because this is overwhelming, I have more good news for you. You don't have to do all of these things. You just have to figure out the right combination based on your specific goals, your market, and your budget. And conveniently, Carly is going to take the floor and discuss how to capture the attention of your market, which can be helpful in determining which channels will be most effective for your business.
Great, thanks, Jody. So yes, kind of thinking about the first place we want to begin is where and how do we want to reach these prospects? But then we also really need to think about what are we going to say? So once you may not determine the channels immediately, but kind of thinking what kind of makes the most sense. Perhaps it's starting with a LinkedIn ad and revving up your email marketing because you have some good contacts from, trade shows that you went to, an email list that you might be able to work with. The next step is dialing in your messaging. Commercial prospects, as we said, are vastly different from residential targets in their wants and needs. Establishing a core message that speaks to this group is critical. Some things that you can consider when you're planning this core message are first, balancing content and emphasizing your expertise. So you want to strike that balance with digital content that directly promotes your service offerings like propane forklift cylinder exchange, but also backs up your claims with indirect signals of your expertise, like also having safety compliance information on your website or a strong understanding of industry best practices that you might share on your LinkedIn feed, or even within your direct marketing like email. And then the next element that's really important with your core messaging is segmenting your audience for the most effective targeting. So making your marketing efforts feel more relevant and less spammy by narrowing down even smaller audiences within your commercial audience. For email marketing, this could look like breaking down your contact lists into categories, for example, auto gas users with commercial fleets versus municipal vehicles. Your messaging on the value of propane auto gas and your offerings of that to each audience may have similar through lines, but you can make your content stand out by appealing to their direct wants or needs, whether that's with different headlines and subject lines in an email, different imagery between the image of a commercial fleet versus a school bus. For LinkedIn strategy, this can look like building several ad campaigns for industries that use, if we're going to say propane forklifts, and targeting the audience by industry and job title, as Jody mentioned. And if your strategy involves a more direct approach with salespeople meeting targets in person, you can build out leave behind materials that align with these digital outreach options like email or ads to create a cohesive marketing strategy, but reaching those people that you may be having those direct conversations with. And the last tip that I have as far as dialing in that core message is staying up to date on shifts in the industries that your clients work in. So being dialed into what's going on within those industries that they work in, whether that's agricultural, manufacturing, anything like that, will not only help your company stay relevant and dynamic with your offerings, but also shows both prospects and current customers that you care about their businesses. So this could mean keeping up with local regulations if you serve agricultural operations or new safety standards for warehouses in manufacturing. You can also demonstrate this knowledge through direct marketing, like emails, if you have those email addresses, on your website, blog posts, as Jody mentioned. And having this information can set you apart in those sales conversations and strengthen your retention rate as well. So next, Jody is going to, as we kind of talked about demonstrating expertise, she's going to talk about how you can demonstrate your credibility through trust signals.
Definitely. So trust signals are foundational for effective B2B marketing. In the energy industry, your prospects aren't making impulse decisions. They're evaluating vendors carefully. They're doing their research and they're choosing partners they trust. So the question is, when they find you, what do they see and what do they think? Ultimately, prospects need to trust you before they will hire you. Let's discuss some ways to show that you're a trustworthy partner. One way you can demonstrate credibility is through these trust signals. Before anyone picks up the phone or fills out a contact page, they've already formed an impression of your business. That impression is built entirely on these trust signals, which are visible signs of proof that tell a prospect these people know what they're doing and others have trusted them as well. Commonly used trust signals are customer reviews, industry certifications, association memberships, recognizable client logos, and the overall quality of your digital presence. These signals are kind of like your silent sales team, but they work around the clock even after the office closes down for the night. The fact of the matter is, most energy companies are doing excellent work. Many just aren't fully showing it. That's where the marketing comes in. So let's dive a little further into customer reviews to start, because this is one where I see businesses underutilize it more than probably anything else. Forbes reports that 90 to 98% of people read reviews before making a decision. People want to know what others say about working with you. And if you don't have recent relevant reviews, they're going to move on to somebody else. So how do you get more and better reviews? First, ask in the moment. The best time to request a review is right after a successful project or in a moment when your client has just expressed satisfaction. Train your team to recognize those moments and ask. Most customers will be happy to write a review, especially if you make it easy for them. When they agree, send them a link right then and there so that they have it at their fingertips. Second, build review requests into your marketing. Include review links in your email signature, in follow-up messages you send after deliveries and service are completed, and in your client check-in sequences. Some marketing partners like ours even offer a service called review management, where customers who got a delivery or service in the past week are automatically contacted with a review request that's personalized. And then third, manage your reviews actively. Respond to every review. Thank people publicly for the positive ones and address any negative ones professionally. Prospects read both. And how you handle a critical review says as much about your business as the 5-star ones. The goal is a consistent, growing stream of authentic feedback that reinforces your expertise in the energy space. Next, your client portfolio. In B2B, nothing builds confidence faster than being able to say, here are the companies we've worked with. Create a dedicated section on your website and in your proposals that showcases the logos of companies you've served. This puts a healthy pressure on your prospects because first, they can see if companies they admire and look up to have chosen you. And secondly, if they see that a competitor uses you, they may feel that they also need to kind of keep up and get the same or maybe more services than that competitor uses. If you want to go a step further, you can develop case studies, even 2 or 3 sentences that highlight a result. For example, helped company A increase qualified inbound leads by 40% in 6 months. And next, your online presence matters greatly. Your website is often the first and most important impression that you make. And a lot of businesses in this space are leaving opportunity on the table with a site that hasn't been updated in years and doesn't reflect the quality of the work that they actually do. Your website needs to clearly communicate your experience and your results, and it needs to be updated regularly so it shows your business is active and growing. A prospect who is interested in your company will immediately go to your website to learn more, especially these days. If they're left feeling unimpressed or uncertain based on a lack of information or lack of presentation quality, they're going to move on to somebody else. We also recommend adding a portfolio section. Show before and after examples of your work. Show what problems you solved and what the outcome was. And then extend that content to social media. You're taking the pictures anyway. Share those before and afters on LinkedIn. Visual proof of work like that builds credibility everywhere your prospects are spending time. And speaking of LinkedIn, for B2B marketing, LinkedIn is a key spot where decision makers are spending time. And it's also a place where connections are established before anyone ever speaks to you. So I feel like there are two key aspects to a robust LinkedIn strategy. First is your company page should be posting consistently project updates, industry insights, helpful information, team spotlights, and engaging with comments too, tagging partners and clients, showing that your company is active and engaged in the space. And then the second part of that is your employees' participation, which also matters a lot. Encourage every member of your team to have a fleshed out, polished LinkedIn profile that reflects your brand. And also give them on the clock time to reshare company content and to interact genuinely with conversations happening in the industry. When prospects look you up, and they will, they're not just looking at your company, they're looking at your whole team. Employee engagement on LinkedIn multiplies your reach and reinforces your credibility many times over. So at the end of the day, credibility isn't built with just one big move. It's built consistently across every touch point where your prospects are finding you. So a couple of things that I would challenge you to do this week: you could send a review request to your last 10 clients, add a portfolio or logo section to your website, or if you already have one, commit to updating it, and make one post on your LinkedIn company page today. These are small steps that create compounding results over time. And when a prospect in the industry finds you on Google, LinkedIn, or through a referral, they'll see a company that looks exactly like the one that they've been trying to find.
Thank you, Jody. And speaking of driving people to contact you, a big element of the commercial playbook to marketing for commercial accounts is, what do you do when you do win that business or when you win that first point of contact? So once you've honed your strategy to driving those prospects to reaching out, positioning yourself as a reliable partner is an essential step to stand out from competitors. This will not only help you win business, but keep it and create a portfolio of long-term commercial accounts. So some key strategies in doing so are building a reputation for follow through, whether that's through the sales process, point of contact, answering emails, phone calls, being punctual, things like that. The first impression of your sales and onboarding process will set expectations for how you do business with your commercial accounts, whether that's upfront scheduling, being clear about availability, billing process and processes, and so on, will all come together to start your relationship with a new commercial account off on the right foot. Maintain employee training to uphold customer service quality. So taking care of your commercial accounts is a specialized part of your business, as most, and all business owners and upper management know. And there's a lot of unique parameters that go into that. So ensure that your CSRs, techs, drivers, anybody that's going to be interacting with your commercial accounts have the training to do so. Whether you're a smaller operation and your CSRs are taking calls from all types of accounts, or if you have a specific commercial department, you want to make sure anyone who's that point of contact is trained to answer the phone and be able to take care of the commercial accounts or direct them to the person that is their account manager, their point of contact. This will establish a positive point of contact for your commercial accounts when they need to get in touch with you for future services, following up on questions, things of that nature. And make sure that your commercial accounts are also aware of and set up to use any user experience enhancements that your business offers. This might be an online portal for billing or service requests, an online contact option that reaches the right customer service person quickly if they're the type to shoot off an email or text instead of give a call. Having those set in place the way you would on your website for a residential target or customer is a great way to just streamline the process on the commercial side as you can. Communication also doesn't end with a commercial prospect becoming a customer. Best practice marketing for retention can be applied to these accounts as well. some ways that you can do that: keep up regular informative email marketing, sharing information about the industry, new service offerings, or industry related reminders. You can build direct campaigns like seasonal e-newsletters or special offers, depending on the needs of the accounts that you work with. And then, as Jody said, interaction on professional social platforms like LinkedIn to further enhance your brand's presence in the landscape of your industry is a great way to do that. It keeps you in front of those decision makers that you establish that relationship with, and keeps your brand in front of them and continues to establish yourself as that reliable long-term partner that they can count on for the services they need, and potentially as they start to expand what they might need from your fuel or HVAC company.
Awesome. So now we're going to open it up for questions. So please feel free to type those into the questions box if you haven't already. I did just want to give a quick rundown about consumer-focused marketing while you type in your questions. We specialize in helping companies like yours build a B2B marketing strategy that's focused, measurable, and built around how actual buyers are making decisions rather than guesswork. So if you need help starting or advancing your commercial marketing strategy, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. All right, so let's check if we have any questions. We don't have any questions yet. One question that I commonly get, Carly, if you would maybe want to expand on this a little bit, would be, do we have any suggestions for building a commercial prospect audience?
Yes, absolutely. That can be a common challenge as far as figuring out where to start and who you're reaching out to with all these tips as far as building your message and how you're going to reach them. So two of the kind of startup ones that I like to recommend are targeting through LinkedIn ads. Jody, as you said, those key decision makers are on LinkedIn, they're using it. And right now there's so many options on how you can target those ads. You touched on this, but beyond location targeting, you can then get really into the nitty gritty. You can target by industry, job title, and so many different ways. And then another arm of that strategy, I would say, would be the digital advertising, using Google Ads to show up in popular search results, both traditional search and AI search for businesses that use your services. And both of these ads can work together to point these prospects towards a really good landing page so you can capture their information. So you want to set it up in such a way that they can reach out to you to learn more about the information that they need. But Jody, like you said, it's not the type of turn and burn quick decision making. So capturing an email address sets you up to then be able to use the other channels we talked about as far as email marketing or other things like that to continue your outreach and continue that relationship as you kind of give those extra touches to kind of guide a prospect through the process of being a brand new prospect to a long-term customer.
Definitely. Thanks for expanding on that. Yeah, I think we would all prefer sometimes if the customer would buy something the first time they see marketing for it, but yeah. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Right.
All right. Well, we don't have any other questions. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate your time and we hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.